So an example of what I learned that I probably should have known, but I didn't, is the way Native Americans picked their leaders. And it may well be an example of the ultimate meritocracy. It turns out that any given warrior at any given time could stand up at a gathering of his peers and make a suggestion about conducting a raid on Mexicans, a raid on American settlements, a raid on another tribe. And he would make his case for why it was time to do it and how he thought it ought to be conducted. And if he had a reputation for courage, if he had a reputation for tactical wisdom, for example, the other braves, the other warriors would simply vote. They'd say, yeah, I think he's got a good idea. I think that's the way it ought to be done, and I'm in. It was that simple. Or they would say, no, not going out with that guy. I remember what happened the last time he led a raid. So it was a perfect meritocracy. And that, I thought, was really interesting because I had kind of assumed there was kind of a European hereditary relationship in the leadership, and there just wasn't. It didn't matter who your dad was or your mother was, but if you weren't respected as a warrior by your peers, you were never in a position of leadership. So that was an enormously important discovery for me because it put into perspective how the raids were conducted that were so devastating. And another thing that I learned, which was maybe the biggest single thing that I learned in research for West from Yesterday, was how absolutely dominant the Comanche were for so long. They controlled the middle part of what is now the United States for almost 400 years. They just kept everybody out of what was their territory, the Comanche. They did that by sheer force of arms. They were the best warriors, and they were the most aggressive, and they ruled what is a very significant part of what is today the United States of America for longer than there's been a United States of America, twice as long to be exact. And I just found that to be astonishing, and I still do whenever I think of it. That's a long time to rule something as big as the heartland of America.